the goal of this program is to reach as many people and to make sure that we are encouraging kind conversations, encouraging emotional literacy so that we can teach emotional skill building. We want, at whatever age that the Kindness Campaign is reaching you, that we are able to teach these skills so that you can have a lifelong ability to take them with you and take them into your community to create cultures of kindness. That is the goal.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the Finding Good podcast. Here we dive deep into conversations with remarkable people who have found success in life despite all of life's myriad challenges and found good on the other side. Based on 3 tenets defined in my best-selling memoir, Finding Good, these individuals have been positively selfish, surrounded themselves with good people, and more than anything, done their part to make this world a better place. My name is Mike Thompson, and this is Finding Good. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Finding Good podcast. I'm your host, Mike Thompson. My guest today is someone who I'm thrilled to have on. She is, first and foremost, a mom. She is a founder of a nonprofit and campaign called the Kindness Campaign. If you've been in Austin for any number of years and you've been in the music scene, charity events, really any social events, this young lady has been there and usually been at the front of it. And I cannot get into our conversation together. She's a fellow published author, just like me, and we're going to get into her book in a little bit and some of her goals coming up. But without further ado, my friend Andra Liemandt, welcome to the Finding Good podcast.
Thank you. Wow. What an intro. Appreciate that.
I can't believe this has happened. Shout out to Jennifer Byrne for making this happen. The podcast has been reaching a lot of people that I didn't expect. And so to have her reach out with that message and to name drop you and kind of do it from you should reach out to this woman. She's incredible. I'm like, I know Andra. Come on. I know Andra.
Like Jen's awesome. She's a great connector and really great. It was fun to know that this was your podcast. So what a cool name. I love it.
Connecting the respective missions together. And normally how I do this, and to all you listeners at home, if this is your first episode, the Finding Good podcast is based off of my book, Finding Good, which chronicles my cancer story, then through addiction and an improbable eventual return to life. And throughout all of that leading up to now, I've identified the 3 tenets that I live by that guide every decision that I make. And the first tenet is to be positively selfish. I think selfishness can have a negative connotation around it. The dictionary definition literally means to live with a disregard for others. But the way that I like to define it is you take care of yourself first so that you can take care of others second. The second tenet is to surround yourself with good people, hopefully those that have also chosen to be positively selfish, but also distancing yourself from people that are unkind or that don't add value to your cup. And finally, and most importantly, if you do those first 2, if you abide by those first 2 tenets, then you can leave the world better than you found it. And that's what drives me every day. And I can't think of anybody more fitting for not only all 3 of those, but certainly that last one. And so I want you right out of the gate to talk about what inspired you to start the Kindness Campaign. These last 10 years, you've reached hundreds of thousands of kids and, countless other family members, adults, parents, what have you. But why? Tell me why the Kindness Campaign was important to you.
So, and before I do, it's interesting you talk about being selfish in the, the concept of really being aware of yourself and really setting boundaries. I used to have a little business card when I go out and about in Austin, and it said SEEK, SEEC, not spelled with a K. And those were our 4 pillars of the Kindness Campaign: self-image, emotional awareness, empathy, and community. And it stood for seek kindness in yourself before you could give kindness to others. And it seemed a little selfish, but it actually was a way that if you could see yourself, if you could really find the good in yourself, then you could find the good in others and really pouring into yourself. And you just reminded me with your tenets that it really is about grounding yourself, pouring in so much goodness so that you could then have something to give to others. And it's that kind of saying, like, you've got to fill your cup before you can give to others. Or when you're on a plane, you got to put your, on your oxygen mask before you can put it on your child or whomever is around you that you care about. And I think that those things have come up because I think it's so crucial when you're caring for others, that if we don't take care of ourselves first, it's really hard to care for those around you. And that really kind of goes into your question of why the kindness campaign. Where did it come from? How did this all start? 2015 is a long time ago. I can't even believe
10 years.
I have been doing this nearly 10 years. I really enjoy it. I often say I wake up every day. I love what I do. I love who I work with. I have a really special team. When I started off, it was just me. It was me and my daughters at the kitchen table. And we started really from a place of trying to heal. I had a dear family friend whose daughter died by suicide. She had been bullied. And it was heartbreaking, as anyone who has suffered from this and knows someone, or maybe it's happened to them. I'm deeply sorry. You never really get over it. It's not something to get over. It's something to really heal and continue to heal from. I'm still healing. I still feel it in my chest when I talk about it.
Yeah.
I feel that every day and in the work we do, it's my why. Why do I, 10 years later, still really feel passionate about what I'm, waking up and doing? I know that there's some child out there that needs the work that we're creating, or the song we're doing, or the journal we just released. And so when I sat down 10 years ago at the kitchen table with my daughters, I was in pain, and I was trying to find a reason why some child, 12 years old, felt so alone that they didn't see to the next day, that they wanted to carry on. And my daughters started talking, and they were very young at the time. They're 16 and 18 now, the loves of my life. And they're doing well. And we sat down and we created a little character and to discuss feelings. And we did a feelings journal. The character's name was Enoughy Buddy. Yes, that's the book. Well, that's our book now. This was 10 years in the making. This is now the story of Enoughy Buddy that I just released. But that was the story we started creating at that kitchen table. And we created just a feelings journal. It was black and white, spiral bound. Kinko's helped us, kind of put it together.
Putting them together by hand at home. Yeah.
I think there were some stickers involved, and, very much, very, very, you can tell with that drawing there, it was very kid-like. He doesn't have a nose. He's round and blue and different, and very much, the story of Enoughy is he's adopted, and Mr. and Mrs. Buddy are, his parents, and he's got this little journey goes on. And we were just telling stories at our kitchen table about what it felt like to go to school at the time, what were some of their fears, and really, as a mom, I wanted to know, how to connect more deeply with them, because I felt like I might be missing something.
Maybe they're not telling you. Maybe they don't feel comfortable sharing it with mom.
I thought that if I knew that maybe I could protect them. And I think as parents, we want to be protectors of our kids, and we want to, really see before they see, so that we catch them before they fall. And I think that's what I was doing. I was definitely operating out of a place of fear. My intention was not to have a nonprofit. 10 years later, I definitely have a nonprofit.
A flourishing one at that.
My intention was to bring this journal and this story into their classroom and give them space to heal, and to create a little stuffy and give them something to love on and to hug on and to heal in a time when we very much needed it in our family to understand and unpack what had happened to their friend. And it took off. It's a very long story, but the short version is that I ended up through many different interactions with caring, loving people who definitely saw a need and saw that journal and saw what we had created, ending up in, 5 schools. The principal at our school championed it into the entire school, then 5 schools. Then it went from 5 schools into 50 schools all throughout Austin, 75 schools. And, in that time frame, Kinko's was like, hey, Andra, we love you.
Slow down a little bit.
But do you have a different game plan? Because this strategy might not work. And I started reaching out to some people and really strategizing about what would this look like, and who can I hire, getting a curriculum writer, and really thinking through what would the possibilities be if I created a nonprofit, and really getting into it. It was fun, and it became a real bonding experience with my daughters, talking about the journeys of Enoughy Buddy, and just really having fun with it. I had some friends and their kiddos coming in that were older, and getting them involved. And we were doing really fun launches at schools where we would launch Enoughy Buddy. I got a big mascot. And if anybody knows me, I love to be creative. And so if I'm going to do something, I'm going to go big. And so I just kind of really got into it. So it was really a fun opening and beginning to the journey of what I called the kindness campaign.
It's such a great story, and it's still being told. I mean, I'm enamored with everything about you, and I think only good things are going to continue to come from this. But you mentioned creativity, and I wanted to talk really quickly about one of your favorite people that you look up to. It's going to be one of the last questions of the rapid fire, but I'm going to jump ahead and talk about Maya Angelou.
Oh, yes.
And 2 of my favorite quotes of Maya's, there's countless, probably hundreds of thousands of Maya Angelou quotes at this point, but she says, you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. And so thinking about Enoughy Buddy, and what I love about this is, whenever I first got this book, I immediately thought, if a kid sees this, they'll look at it and say, if Enoughy Buddy is enough, I'm enough.
Yeah.
And they feel valued. Yes. And so knowing that, you've got your girls there in 2015, and you're just trying to not only, you can't right the wrong of somebody taking their own life, but you can do something to make sure it never happens again. And knowing how difficult it is to start a nonprofit and to really make change, what were some of the obstacles that you faced early on, whether it was Kinko's, whether it was, schools not really letting you in, to now? What are some of those obstacles, and what have you done to overcome them?
Yeah. And I would say that there have been so many. And, as we all reflect on just even being an entrepreneur as a nonprofit founder, there are so many challenges within that space. I could sit here all day naming all of them. I would say the biggest challenge was myself. Feeling like an imposter in a position of someone with lacking any experience whatsoever. I had a ton of experience in a lot of different categories, mainly the health and wellness space, but zero in the category of running a nonprofit. I would hire people that were way more skilled than me. My mom was a school teacher, so I definitely felt qualified as being a guinea pig in, the education space, because my mom used me, she was a speech pathologist. And so I was her number 1 student.
Bounced ideas off of you.
And I was in her kindergarten class. So I felt like somewhat that qualified me when I would walk into meet with principals, or, go and meet with full on, directors at school, superintendents. Yeah. And, I'd walk in and it would just be me. And, here I am not really knowing all the rules or the red tape. And, but the good news is being naive really kind of got me further than I thought. People would go, how are you getting into these schools? And I'm like, I have no idea. I'm just moving right ahead. And
figuring it out.
They're like, how are, did you submit the RFQ or the this? And I'm like, nope, just went right in. So it was really fun because I just didn't know what I didn't know. But so my biggest challenge for me was also really kind of building the, flying the ship or building it while I was flying it, or whatever all those terms are. Like, I just kind of just went ahead. I just kind of felt like I could. I never felt that the word can't didn't exist because I was super, super passionate about what I was doing, the team I was building. I always loved all the people I had on board because they were also really excited about what I was doing. And because they also came to the space was something that was driving them too. They had some experience, whether it was personal or they knew someone. So they were really drawn to the mission. And then the partnerships I had, they were also very tied to the mission and the vision. And so I always felt this like gathering of people that wanted the success and wanted to succeed no matter how messy it got. So as I look at the challenges, it usually was me. I would be the biggest barrier. And when I looked at what I was creating, I thought, how do I get out of my own way and empower the people around me? So I started reading tons and tons of leadership books and taking courses and trying to figure out, okay, I need to be the best kind of, and even owning the title of boss felt weird. I would always talk in we terms, or we created this, or how do we feel? And what I learned was out of all of the leadership styles, I definitely lean into democratic leader, where I sit back, I like everyone to tell me what they're thinking, and then I can like jump in. And I thought that made me weak. And later what I learned was it made me understand how to lead from the positions of where everyone was coming from. So I knew if I had a vision for where I wanted to go, I could easily and more readily bring people to the table and figure out how to guide them there with the vision I wanted. But I had a hard time establishing that leadership goals and really getting there. But it's taken a lot of work. I constantly am trying to grow as a leader and really empowering my team and constantly trying to get myself out of the weeds, learning that trust is a huge part of that equation. And most recently, I hired such an incredible director of curriculum and programming. She's had 30 years in this business. And just told her this week, I was like, this is the first time that I haven't had to be on calls with teachers, calls with full district rollout meetings. And I don't know how long.
But yet and you have confidence that everything is going to get done the right way.
And because used to, I would be on every single call and doing every single thing. But when you have built a team that you can trust and that you've empowered them to own their lanes, know and trust their lanes, and you build a team that trusts you and vice versa, it becomes a higher quality environment and a higher producing team.
And it's sustainable.
There's only one of me, which, my book is, enough everybody finds his superpower.
Yep. You found yours.
It doesn't mean you're a superhero.
Right.
If there's only one of you, you can't be everywhere or the ship does sink.
You're leading us right into the second tenet, but I want to touch on leadership really quick. In grad school, I read a lot of Brene Brown, and
love me some
shout
Brene
out
Brown.
Whenever we get Brene on the podcast,
Clear is kind. I say that all the time.
That's it.
Yeah.
And what you're talking a lot about the same concept she does with vulnerability and trust and courage, and those have proven to be, both through her research and real life experiences, what you found is that getting smarter people than you that understand what you're doing, explaining the mission, getting them to buy into that mission, and then working together to solve the problem that your mission is focused on. It's not an easy task. Right. And really, truthfully, you've said this, the only way you can do it is if you have people around you that you can trust. So knowing the second tenet of finding good, surround yourself with good people. I do want to know, who were those early partners? Who were those people that you said, hey, I'm driven, I've got a personal experience, I never want to see this happen to a child or a human again. Yeah. Can you come on board? Who are those people now and then that started you going?
Interestingly, early on, I had some of my really sweet friends that just stepped on board. One was Kendra Scott. she, in all of our curriculum, I marched up to her office. I had my little journal and I said, I'm going to put this in print. And teachers they'll be reading these. They'll be in the classrooms. And I was like, would love to put jewelry on our teacher, Mrs. Flowers. Can I put some Kendra Scott jewelry on her? And she said, yes, let's do it. And she's been really a supporter all along the way. We've hosted many different events with her. And so long-term partnership for the last, launch and just they've been at our community day events. So yeah, long-term partner, longtime friend. Kendra's been there all along the way.
We do have plans to have her on the podcast. So Kendra, you're next.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, she's definitely a great Austinite. Yeah, of course. She's doing all kinds of great things. But, when I think back to the people that like just from the beginning who latched onto the concept and onto the idea, Kind Bars, they were here and they were there from the beginning. They were out in the trenches with us, giving us Kind Bars to have at our events.
I mean, the name just fits perfectly. So.
Exactly. That's one of the things about our mission and vision of, how do you take donor dollars? How do you accept in-kind donations? It really needs to be aligned. When you accept things, even if you need it, be careful what you get with that, because when you have a few missteps, you feel it, and you know that you're working really hard for that relationship, and you can feel the imbalance. And so there's been some hard learnings along the way, but I think about that. Early in those early days, that those were some really beneficial and really boosting to help us get out there and really move the needle for us. One of my longtime partners is BK Beauty. They have skyrocketed. I remember meeting with Lisa J, and she was just starting out, and we had this just easy conversation, just two moms sitting there. She's talking about her business. I was talking about what we were doing. And she says, why don't we do it together? I've got beauty is kindness, and our mission sounded very aligned. I said, sure, let's, if you want to, donate some profits, that sounds great. I love what you're doing. I think it really matters for young girls to really see that part of beauty. And so we started that conversation. We've been business allies ever since. And she's just really taken over the YouTube scene and the beauty industry in such a beautiful way. I love her dearly, and they've been with us really as a strong supporter ever since. So there's so many to actually name. I have a lot of friends. My Jenny Mason, who was in my band, was her daughter. They both were there, like even wearing the Enoughy Buddy costume at times. So, there's been a lot of friends, like I mean, just countless friends. My band.
I'm speechless just because I'm so impressed by this whole journey that you've been through. Before we get into the last tenet, there's another Maya Angelou quote that I really, really love, and I believe in it. And it says, "Nothing will work until you do." And we can't just snap our fingers and hope something happens, no matter how altruistic the mission is. And managing a nonprofit is, in my opinion, harder than a startup, than a for-profit company, because not only are you dealing with all the tax implications and accepting in-kind donations, but typically you hope that people will support out of the goodness of their heart. Yeah. But there's also recognition, there's also expectations there. But you have remained steadfast in your mission of focusing on programs and practical things that kids and school districts can use. So I want you to explain really quick, what is World Kindness Day?
Yes.
And how you've probably helped hundreds of thousands of kids now. I mean, that's got to be close to 7 figures at this point.
Yeah.
What does the practical application of the Kindness Campaign and World Kindness Day look like now that you've got this powerhouse nonprofit going? You obviously have an incredible board, tons of supporters, the Kendra Scotts of the world backing you. What has all that affected in terms of positive change in the world?
Yeah, well, just as a overview of all of our offerings, we have curriculum and tools that are for children and adults, and we serve both in the home and in the classroom. And these tools are both interactive, but also curriculum based, right? So we have tools that can look anything like art infused. So maybe we've got coloring sheets or a puppet show, get up and move videos, to something that's as simple as a journal with writing prompts that teachers can use in their classroom. So we've got a wide variety of tools, all of which we have created a way where teachers can sign up during the year to get these tools during World Kindness Day. This is a program we designed where schools can celebrate World Kindness Day and then utilize these tools all throughout the year. And they come power packed. Think of a surprise box. Everybody loves to get a box. What we do is we get supporters from all over. Last year we had Good Pop doing popsicle party contests.
Love Good Pop.
HEB sponsoring, giving teacher gift cards away. We have so many fun things. Stickers where teachers can give these like little Enoughy Buddy stickers and do for the kids that are doing good deeds. All kinds of stuff. So I just imagine the most fun box that a teacher could like pop open. This year we gifted our the Enoughy Buddy Finds His Superpower book in there. So every year we do fun new things for the teachers and the students. They sign up, they get art supplies, they get all kinds of fun things. And over the years, around this time, we have served over 250,000 students nationwide, including Canada.
So it's not just in Austin.
It's not just in Austin.
Incredible.
No, it has become so popular. Every year it's growing and growing and growing. It is a program that we're very proud of. It serves every demographic. It's from elementary kids. We even have some middle school kids groups that have signed up, high school, and even some college age groups that have signed up for this program. But we're serving a wide variety of students, teachers, individuals. And the goal of this program is really to make it accessible. Our programming is bilingual. So that means that we are serving both English and Spanish speaking individuals. We allow for our schools, whoever signs up, organizations like Boys and Girls Clubs to Big Brothers, Big Sisters. A lot of different organizations have signed up. So it's not specific to just schools. We allow anyone to sign up, and any area of the U.S., obviously Canada. And at one year we had, 2 years ago, we served them actually for 2 years. We had Budapest. We served them. We translated all of our curriculum into Ukrainian, and we served them for 2 years. Ukrainian refugees.
Incredible.
So that was really a really fun and challenging task.
And you told me you actually got a translator there to translate everything into the Ukrainian as well.
Yes. So that was really exciting and fun. The goal of this program is to reach as many people and to make sure that we are encouraging kind conversations, encouraging emotional literacy so that we can teach emotional skill building. We want, at whatever age that the Kindness Campaign is reaching you, that we are able to teach these skills so that you can have a lifelong ability to take them with you and take them into your community to create cultures of kindness. That is the goal.
It's such a great mission. And I think what you've done, in addition to academia and reaching out into education pockets, is you've created this QRF, military term, the Quick Reaction Force.
I like that. QRF.
Yeah. And
I'm in.
And it's really like boots on the ground. You've got this infrastructure now of people and programs and partnerships that can really go anywhere. And I mentioned this because I wanted to acknowledge Uvalde.
Yes.
When the Uvalde shooting happened, my producer JB and Lance and the whole We Do team with Operation Get Out, and y'all brought bikes down to all the kids there that were survivors of the shooting. And so your mission, while it resides in curriculum and education, is going far beyond the realm of academia. And it's really touching places that you wouldn't ordinarily expect. And that is leaving the world better than you found it to a T. And what I love about World Kindness Day specifically is there's who invents these days? Taco World Taco Day and National Margarita Day. Like,
although I like a good taco,
I love them. We have tacos on the shelf right over there right now for you before you leave. And JB knows this. Like, every day is World Taco Day for me.
Exactly.
But knowing that it's not just one specific day, World Kindness Day, while it's just a day, is merely the day that you said you celebrate kindness and you equip these teachers, these superintendents with kindness-based programs to do it throughout the year. And I just think that's so crazy powerful.
Thank you. Yeah. And, I think that sometimes we're just looking for a little bit of hope. And in order to launch into what we know is needed in the world. And when we can rally around that hope, it really provides a space and a place for children and everyone to come together. And I agree. Right now, what I'm seeing, we work with we have a program called Kind Leadership in our high school program. We work to build entrepreneurs. They have a passion project where they build, whatever they want, really. It's whatever they're passionate about. And we help them curate it. It's like a mini Shark Tank. And awesome. We help them. We work all throughout the year. We bring in mentors, and we really, we're about to actually, at the end of the year, we'll have a summit. We bring in, you should come and help judge.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so we bring in judges to come in, and they're pitching at the end to get money. And it's so fun to go towards their project. And what that is letting them know that caring, loving adults care about what they're passionate about. And what that does is gives them a little bit of hope that they can make the world better. Because something that I think you may have mentioned, and I don't know if it was that we were talking earlier, but that no matter what is going on in the world, it only takes one person. So it takes one person to make that difference. And it could be with just the person next to you that you're making that difference, or you can actually change a community. People around you can feel it. And so I always like for my students, specifically our kind leaders, to know that they may have this idea and it may just be something that's specific for them, but it actually could make a huge difference. I've got this one young girl who's just climbed Kilimanjaro with her family. And she said, I really thought that the porters there could, use a different backpack. It looked like it was hurting their spines. So she's now already on a mission to change the way the backpacks fit the porters. She's already sent them 3 different designs. She's speaking at South by now. We're helping her to create this whole new change for these individuals that clearly need someone here in Austin, Texas, helping them where they live. And she's like, I think not only helping them, it could be a global change. So this went on a trip with her family and now could do something great for the world. And to me, I'm like, yes, you can. And who knows what will happen, but it might actually do something great for so many others. And that's what it is. It's hope.
I don't know if you knew this, but I've been to Kilimanjaro.
No, I didn't know
got in
that.
Summit 2015, which is the same year that TKC started.
Okay.
I got to join my friends at Livestrong and made the trek over to Tanzania, climbed Kilimanjaro, and then the last day on the mountain when we're back at base camp, we give all of our gear to all the porters there. And I'm still close, like connected on Instagram with 2 of the guides. Emmanuel is one of them. There was Emmanuel Sylvester. Okay. He's a local Tanzanian. And my friend Joe and I, we'll send him money every now and then to work on his house. And something you said, it's just that one person. All you need is one person to affect that positive change. And my wife, Kendall, love her so much. She's my best friend in the world, but she's obviously far more introverted than I am. And something that she makes fun of me for is she'll steal a joke from John Mulaney and say that when we're out in public, it's like I'm running for the mayor of nowhere. Because I'll just talk to people randomly and smile. And one day we were driving home and she was like, I'll never understand your energy. It's so fascinating to me. Like, what drives you to interact with strangers? And I said, first of all, I'm still alive. I'm not 6 feet under. I'm not shackled to an IV pole. I'm not in jail. I've got my mental and physical faculties still about me. And so I'm so thankful to be alive, but you never know that one person that's just on the cusp of not wanting to be.
Yeah.
And so while I know it's not reasonable to think that every interaction you have might set somebody off down a path of self-destruction, maybe I could be that one person that brings them back from it. And so knowing that you can affect the life of one person, to me, is part of that leave the world better than you found it mentality. And what you have created, Andra Liemandt, has 100% done that. And I know that it wouldn't happen unless you were you. So this is a perfect time to talk about you. I think we can talk forever about the Kindness Campaign, but you're a mamapreneur. So you're a business owner and a nonprofit founder, but you're also a mom of 2 amazing girls.
I am.
You're a musician. You said that you focus on health and fitness, but tell me, being positively selfish, what does that look like to you? What is the oxygen mask of Andra Liemandt's life so that you can be the best version of yourself?
Yeah, I've gotten better at it. I struggle at times, for sure.
That's the nature of people that are unselfish, is that they struggle with being selfish.
Yeah, it gets hard, and especially around this time. We have a lot of commitments around this time of year. When I'm trying to raise funds for the gala, put on our community day event. We're the Cap 10K beneficiaries this year. So we have like multiple events going on, all culminating at the same time. I tend to, that gets hard. But one thing that speaking as like when I was having both the band and the nonprofit, that was even harder. And I think after what I'd like to say, I put my sticks down, but not my music hat. My music hat is still on because I still am writing music and creating music with the Kindness Campaign. We call it Kind Music. So I still get to fill my soul there. And that's what I think really brings to life that creativity that I love so much. Later this afternoon will be talking to a producer and writing songs and really talking music. And that fills my cup, being that I love to drum, which is a huge part of my life. I'm not getting to do that. So that feels a little unbalanced. But I think we go through seasons in our life where we have to kind of pause. I have one daughter in college and one that's a junior trying to get into a college. And so I think when we look at our lives, we have times where we learn to understand the balance of where we are in our lives. And so my children are my heartbeats, and I get to see when I get to talk, she assigns me TV shows to watch. So I have homework all the time of like a shared show we're watching. So that's something that I take joy in right now with my oldest, who's off at college.
So when she's at Stanford. She's at
Stanford.
2 hour time difference. You're watching shows, and then when you catch up, you connect and download it together.
Yes, we talk late at night. Thank goodness I'm a night owl. And then my younger daughter, just keeping up with her. Both are very entrepreneurial. My oldest is writing her newsletter is Austin Scholar, and she writes this newsletter, and it's education from a teen's perspective. So I feel like I'm reading what she's putting out every Sunday. And then my younger daughter has an app she created for a safe teen dating app that she's working on. She's been launching it. And so I really get to kind of, connect with her and my husband actually over her desire to help teens not feel so disconnected in a disconnected world right now. And really kind of it falls in line with what I'm doing. She's meeting with like Dr. Yeager, who wrote 10 to 25, who's a a renowned psychologist. She's getting these meetings and talking to him about her app because really the community that she's building is a teen community that we want to know and we want to hear from because they're really the future of who we're wanting to understand more today because they're the ones who grew up with tech, with social media, with all of these things.
They were born into it.
Correct. And so when I think about my daughter and what she's into and, where I'm spending my time and what makes me tick and what I'm excited about, it's really that. It's spending time going to Pilates with her or catching up on what the latest is with she and her friends and, those kinds of things and my husband and what he's got going on with his stuff. But, outside of that, what really fills my cup is really that my faith is a big piece of what I do. I spend every morning, I have a little chair that sun comes in sometimes, hasn't lately, and I take in the sun. I do my gratitude journal. It's getting really full. I'm very grateful. I do 3 things every morning that I'm grateful for from the day before.
Every
day. And if I don't have my journal or I'm traveling, I say it to myself in the morning. I say my prayers. I am a part of a virtual Bible study. And so I do my virtual Bible study every morning. And shout out to my Bible study group. And I work out. I try to work out every day and move my body. I have an elliptical that is under my desk. It's like one of those seated ones. Yeah. And I highly recommend it. It was super easy to put together. I did it myself.
You're moving while you're working.
I move while I work. It helps me think. I'm not moving right here because I'm scared I'm going to miss something up, but I'm very, I like to move.
We'll talk to JB. Maybe we can get some treadmills in here and
better,
talk.
So I'm surprised I can talk right now. But yeah, so I usually I get like thousands of whatever you call them steps in on my elliptical. But so when I think about what makes me me, those are the things. My background's kinesiology, and I love the study of health. If I can devour health and wellness stuff, I do. I love to, people are like, what are you reading? I'm like, well, I'm reading about trauma right now. Do you know Matthias J. Barker or Dr. Frank Anderson? And people are like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, oh, and I just started this podcast, and people are like, no. So that's what fills my cup. If I could have gone a path of psychology, I would have, and I just didn't. But I do now, and I just really enjoy it. And I feel like that is what makes me whole and complete. And faith, family, and really fellowship with friends, and really taking care of myself and making sure I do that every morning. And my team knows, do not bother me before 8:30, 9, because I'm sitting in that chair and if they need to, they will text me or something, but I don't do 8 a.m. meetings.
What time do you usually wake up?
I 7.
Yep.
I'm up till I'm working or doing things. My daughter's up late. Anybody who has teens, they do not go to bed until 11:30 or midnight.
I'm a night owl, so that's me.
So we're the lights are on, everything's going, and I don't like to go to bed before her, and sometimes I do, but
sure.
But yeah, we're up.
But you spend that first hour, no matter what, with yourself and your thoughts and your prayer.
I do.
I love that.
I do.
I mean, it just sets you up for the day.
Yeah.
When it's not a busy time of year, when you don't have a million things going on. Where do you go? Where do you like to travel? What do you like to do for Andra's relaxation and recovery time?
Yeah, I love the heat. I love the beach. And if I'm going to travel anywhere, I love to do that with my family. That's our happy place. I love to get a good podcast going, a good book. That's my happy place. So I will do that. Or I love to go to Victoria, Texas, which I'm sure is not on anyone's travel plans.
It's on mine. Aunt Merle lives there, and I go see her as often as I can. Victoria is like a throwback in time.
It's surprising how many people, when I throw out Victoria, Texas, are like, "Oh, I know so-and-so," or "I've been from there, or I drive through there." It's on my plan to Rockport or Port Cotter. But yes, so my family's there, and I really feel like that fills my cup. going there. My parents have a dog named Jax, and I send him monthly treats and any kind of little thing I can, because my husband's allergic, so we don't have a dog, but I love Jax is my own. And my brother and his wife and family are all there. So I have fond memories of Victoria, and that's my place.
What beach do you go to when you go to the beach? You have a favorite place?
We go wherever, but yeah, I mean, I'll go to any beach. Literally any beach. But we usually go to the Bahamas area, like quick to go to or wherever. Yeah.
Crystal clear water.
Yeah.
Yellow, white sand.
My daughters love to scuba. I'm not a big scuba, but they like to do that. So they do that. And I'm like, tell me what you saw. Take the pictures, whatever you need to do. And
explain it to me like I was there.
Yeah, exactly.
So impressed by you. The fact that you've been able to do all these things and still be a mamapreneur and still be a founder and still be a musician. You are 100% transforming the world. And I just think the world of you.
Thank you.
I want to go through my rapid fire really quick. This is something that I actually borrowed from Brene Brown, just so people can get to know you a little bit better. We've talked about some pretty high level serious stuff today. So I'm curious, favorite movie or favorite actor or actress?
Well, I love Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, she's so cute.
She just makes me feel good.
She's a doll.
If I'm ever in a bad mood, I'll just rewatch one of her shows. Yep. It can be A Legally Blonde. It can be The Morning Show. Yeah. It can be, any of her stuff. I'll just, type in, find me one of her shows, and I feel good. Sweet Home Alabama, whatever you got.
My wife and I will quote her oftentimes, and one of our favorites is when we go to Maso Rancho and some of our friends are there, and I've got a lot of friends with newborns lately. My favorite thing to do is walk up and go, "Hey, you've got a baby in a bar." Exactly. Yep. I love that. Absolutely love Reese. She's amazing.
Yes.
Besides the misses and besides your own incredible voice, if y'all ever get a chance, look up the misses or any of Andra's music. She's an incredible percussionist and vocalist.
Thank you.
But favorite music or song?
So recently I went to the Grammys. I take the kids.
I think I saw that.
I take my girls with me every year when I have the opportunity to go. And Benson Boone,
taking the world by storm.
I saw him at ACL, and then I liked him a lot, but I was kind of in the crowd. I saw him on the stage. He got up, and I don't know if whoever saw him at the Grammys or on TV, wherever you saw him.
He ripped his suit off, right?
He ripped his suit off, and he got up and jumped off that piano,
Front flip.
I got goosebumps. I think I even screamed out loud. It was the most incredibly insane moment of the entire Grammys for me. I just loved it so much. And I really like him. I've been now, of course, stalking him on Instagram and all the places, TikTok. And I just think he's really cool. And he seems like a neat guy.
He does, but he also has a really great voice.
Yeah, his range
is incredible.
It's incredible.
Yep.
His talent is incredible.
Yep.
I just like his athleticism. I'm like, wow.
I mean, and he harkens back to a time of the front man of rock bands that are just fit, like just the Anthony Kiedis, cool. just ripped and you want to know him. You want to be friends with him.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Anyway, I'm just so excited by him. My friends are like, are you going to put on Benson Boone again? I'm like, yes.
Yes. I'll play Beautiful Things over and over and over and over again. That's a great answer.
But I have lots of favorites, and this is always the hardest question when you ask a musician, who's your favorite musician. So I just always have to say who I'm liking right now.
It's like an actor. What's your favorite movie? Well, mine, but also all of them. I don't know.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's an art.
Yeah.
Favorite cuisine or dish?
It's always Mexican food.
Same.
I feel like I can eat that if people are like, if you were on a deserted island and you had nothing left, the only one food you could eat, I'm like, well, I could eat Mexican food all day long, for every meal. And Taco Deli. So Roberto, shout out to my buddy.
Yep.
I knew him many years ago, and I was kind of single at the time, and he was just like, hey, come on over, or we'll cook for you. And I was like, I'll be right over. I'm like, because all I have are piece of toast in my fridge, and I have some eggs. So I'll be right over if you're cooking. And so his food is so good.
Way back in the day at Jack and Adam's Bicycles, we used to have a Sunday morning shop ride. This is 2008, 2010.
Yeah.
And Roberto would bring 300 tacos for us. And that was when I first had Papa's Egg and Cheese.
Yeah.
And there's an influencer, and I don't actually know her name, but her account is like Blondes Who Eat or something like that.
Yeah.
And the caption was best taco I've ever eaten. And the clip is her pouring, the unbelievably tasty doña sauce all over this taco, and she takes a bite of it, and I'm like, that looks like doña. And she goes, y'all, if you haven't had Taco Deli yet, this mashed potato taco with this dona green sauce, I'm like, it's doña. But I saw that video like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, wow, she's just now trying Taco Deli.
That's
and I've
life-changing.
Transformative.
I feel like Austin, it's like we're a big town now, or we're getting bigger
big
and bigger.
City, yeah.
We're big, but I function like a small town girl, just, in a big city, because I go to the people I've known forever.
You can take Andra out of Victoria, but you can't take Victoria out of Andra.
I'm going to, I order Taco Deli pretty much every morning for breakfast.
I keep doña stocked in my fridge.
I know.
It's the best.
We're just stuck in our...
And tacos are my love language. I mean,
me too. So you asked me the right question.
I know, yeah.
So Mexican food's my thing.
You and I are so aligned on so many things. But like music, food has a way of bringing people together like no other. And
it's a connector.
It is. It can be art, celebrated as art. So that's a great answer. And I love everybody at Taco Deli. Favorite ice cream?
Amy's.
What flavor?
Mexican vanilla. But you got to put the crush-ins. and I alternate which crush-in. So
that's where you and I differ. I only ever get Mexican vanilla.
Plain?
I get it with strawberries and
I don't
a
like
half
fruit in my
ball
things.
of chocolate chip cookie dough.
Oh, okay. But I like cookie.
I never, it's always.
Okay.
Kendall makes fun of me all the time. She's like, why don't you branch out? I'm like, no, because it's perfect. Why would I do anything other than perfect? So what are your crush-ins?
Well, I go deep. I'm like the Reese's peanut butter cups, and I'll even get sprinkles in there. But
with Mexican vanilla, just the base is so good. Like you can put anything in there. I
can actually get anything. I'll even put the chocolate on top. No, I go big.
You want to get ice cream and tacos after this?
Yeah, I know. Okay. It's like
I'm getting hungry.
If anybody is looking at our sugar count, they're probably not going to like us very much.
That's why we work out, so we can stay fit.
True. I did talk about health and wellness earlier.
No, we're good.
It offsets.
Yeah, we're going to leave that in, but we're good. Favorite athlete?
Simone Biles.
Oh, gosh.
I
want to meet her so bad.
Right?
First of all, I don't really get to meet a lot of people that are shorter than me. And so that's a high up on the list, but she's unbelievable. Gymnasts in general will blow my mind. But
there's a couple things we didn't cover here. So I did gym. I was a gymnast early on.
Not surprised.
Not great.
You're a Renaissance woman.
Not great.
This.
Not great. But I did gymnastics, and I was a track runner, and I also did basketball. So anytime I meet any one of those people, I pretend that I'm like that kind of an athlete.
Yep.
So I'm like back in elementary school or back in junior high, I was a basketball player. So if I meet like a Spurs person or
You're gonna be like, I used
someone
to play.
from the UT basketball team, I'm like,
the same.
I played basketball in junior high. So I'm like,
we're the same, you and me.
Totally. I played basketball. So anyways, I feel like I have those skills. So when I saw Simone Biles, I'm like, well, I was a gymnast. Well,
we're
like
same,
when I was
Simone.
like 10. So anyways, but the way she championed for mental health
Big time.
was so impressive. I know there's a lot of athletes that have come out, but I feel like she really led the way. And there's been an unpacking around a lot of just mental health and the focus around like what they have to, and kind of the mental strength they have to have, and what happens, and how that there can be a real breakdown for them. And I just really love how she spoke out about it and how she took care of herself. And I watched her documentary. I watched her in the Olympics, and I really love her.
For somebody who's so small, and I get this all the time, the Napoleon complex, she is just such a huge presence.
Yeah.
And look at her focus on mental health and how she was able to overcome all of those challenges and come back and win gold.
Yeah.
It's remarkable. And again, like you, I appreciate so much when people have everything going for them. They've got plenty of money. They're healthy. Everyone around them is healthy and good. Pretty much everything they do turns out to be successful, and yet they still give back. And
there's something there that you're talking about that's reminding me of something really critical to think about with mental health is, and it's not necessarily just the comeback, but it's a repair. And this is true for any relationship, whether it's with yourself or with another individual. That repair is sometimes stronger in a relationship if you have a fallout or you have something that has, a misunderstanding. If you can come back and work to have a repair in a relationship, or even for yourself, you build up, you are way more stronger. And that is why she won the gold, right? Her repair for herself, the break she gave herself, knowing herself, that is so much the strength you gain from that. I think about that with my daughters when I admit, or when I say, I'm really sorry. I really kind of messed that up. Can I have a do-over and talk with you about like maybe how that could look going forward and what you would have loved to have from me in that situation? I feel that that's a stronger building block for them to see, yeah, mom makes mistakes. Mom would love a different opportunity with you. And really, what do you want? This is a conversation with you. And I think those repairs are just more about a relationship because we're all human.
I know I'm speaking to the former kinesiologist here, but we work out.
Basketball player,
gymnast, musician, drummer.
Yes.
Founder, mompreneur, ice cream lover. But we focus so much on physical health, and we want to look good, we want to feel good, but exercising that mental muscle is just as important. Yeah. And just like we break down our muscles in the gym, we tear those muscles down to rebuild, to come back stronger. Yeah. The brain needs that same kind of work. And so I love that in addition to what you're doing with TKC, but just in your general circles, the same way that Simone did, is exercising that mental muscle is so very important. And oftentimes it's the first thing that we discount and don't pay attention to because we're not being positively selfish. Oh, it's okay that I don't get enough sleep, or I can go out and have a few drinks even though I know I'm going to feel like shit the next day.
Right.
Or, we justify those things so quickly to oftentimes please others that we forget to exercise our mental muscle and then grow that back. So I think that is such a great point. And I do think that Simone is the perfect champion for that. Last one, we already kind of touched on this, but tell me more about why you want to meet Maya Angelou. Why you would have wanted to meet Maya Angelou.
Well, I think for many of the reasons I think you said you like her. There's a quote that always has stayed with me with her. I mean, first of all, she's just a very gracious, kind soul. Yep. And I mean, many people who know her know that, or have,
had the privilege of meeting her.
Or just knowing of her. One of the things that has stayed with me that I think, mainly because I forget a lot of things. I don't know about you, but especially as I'm getting older, I'm like, wait, what was said, or what was that about? And so I think about that often. She has this quote, people will forget what you said, forget even what you did, but they'll never forget the way you made them feel. Yep. And I think about that often. And I think about my interactions with people. And when I walk away from someone, what do I feel from them? And I never want to feel icky or like, was this a loving interaction? And that's a better guide for me in my community and who I'm with and how I'm doing. Like my measure of how am I doing is just am I walking away from my interactions and feeling like we're gonna remember that because we listen to each other and I feel seen and heard and loved.
You and I are so aligned on that. This goes back to me being the mayor of nowhere. Even at the Austin Marathon this past weekend, I was in one of the lead trucks on course and interacted with a motorist, and he ended up being more polite than I thought, but I was like, you can't go this way, the road's closed, and he's like, okay, sorry. Yeah. And I just really quickly ran back over and was like, I'm not mad at you. It's been a long morning. I'm very cold and I'm very tired. Yeah. He's like, no, you're good, man. And that could have been a horrible interaction. And there have been times in the past when motorists come up and they yell and don't treat us with kindness. And we have to say, we own the roads. We're sorry for the inconvenience. You can get around this way, and just hope people, leave without confrontation. But again, it goes back to, I want my presence and my interaction with someone to leave them feeling better than before they interacted with me. And you make me feel that way. Aww. And you make me feel inspired. And you remind me that more than anything else, people are good. Aww. And we know that there's a lot of crap in the world. We know that there's a lot of tension and chaos and conflict. There's poverty, there's hunger, there's natural disasters, there's fires, there's all these things that we can truly and justifiably complain about. But on the other side of that, there is kindness, and there are people like you that are championing that effort to make the world a better place. I think this is the perfect time to wrap up our conversation. Really quick, can you tell our dual audiences where they can find more info about the Kindness Campaign, how they can get involved, and of course, how to follow you on all the socials?
Absolutely. Well, you can follow everything we do is at tkckindness.org, and you can find us at the Kindness Campaign on all our socials.
Perfect. You embody the finding good tenets better than anybody. You are positively selfish by making sure that you wake up and you're focused on Andra first and foremost. You've obviously surrounded yourself with good people, whether it's your team, your staff, your bandmates, your girls, your family, obviously your husband, Joe. But then everyone else around you, I think, is made better because of knowing you. And so you contribute to that. And finally, you absolutely have made this world a better place through all of your efforts, whether it's on the charity side or just regular outreach. And I can't thank you enough for coming on the Finding Good podcast today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, don't be a stranger. We'll have many more of these talks together.
I'm ready for tacos.
Oh, me too. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Finding Good podcast. As always, my name is Mike Thompson. Keep finding good.